Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you that are attending today's session. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to do so. Today is our latest session, ServiceNow series, specifically today on the topic of modernizing IT service desks with not only Voice AI, but Voice AI together with ServiceNow AI Agent Orchestrator. Very excited for today's topic. Couple quick housekeeping items. Some of the information and topics that we may cover could be forward-looking in nature. We simply ask that you take that into advisement. But if we dive right in, we have a loaded schedule for you guys today. We'll do a quick round of introductions, but after that, we'll dump right into what are some of the challenges that your typical IT help desk today is trying to overcome. We don't want to take for granted what you do or don't know about Voice AI, especially if you didn't have a chance to join our most recent session on the topic. So we'll cover and help define that for you very quickly. Before diving in and comparing what are some of the more traditional IVR and voice workflows and how does that compare to an AI-powered one? And then I'm sure what you're all most eager to witness is a live demonstration of Voice AI working seamlessly with ServiceNow AI orchestration. And then we'll end with a couple key takeaways and if time allows, some Q&A. My name is Guillaume Senov. I will be your host today. I am the ServiceNow practice lead here at 3CLogic, and I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Todd Rudd, who is our Director of Solution Engineering, as well as Chitwan Malhotra, who is our Director of Cloud Operations. The two of them are going to be our main helpers when it comes to not just covering today's topic, but also facilitating the live demonstration, which again, I'm sure you're all eager to see. But before we dive in to the live demonstration, it always helps to kind of set some context. We don't want to assume what you know or don't know. And so what I wanted to do is maybe anchor the conversation first more in just a couple of statistics. One most recently from our friends over at Zendesk, which interestingly highlights that 90%, so effectively everyone, CX trendsetters, so those that are really the tip of the spear with how to modernize customer experiences, anticipate and believe that Voice AI is going to usher in a new era of voice-driven customer experiences and interactions. And that goes hand in hand with some of the other data points out there, including 60% of the consumers that want companies to adopt AI voice technologies in their customer experience operations. And that may very well highlight why Gartner thinks or anticipates that within the next few years, a third of Fortune 500 companies will most likely offer customer service not through multi-channel anymore, but through a single AI-enabled channel with voice at the center of that distribution. So a lot happening as it pertains to voice and its potential and expected returns as perceived by customer experience moving forward. But there are some key challenges that IT help desks are obviously trying to solve for. And this is a perfect opportunity to really hand it over to Todd to kind of share what are some of those key challenges and hopefully use those as a backdrop as to how Voice AI together with ServiceNow can potentially help solve those for you. Todd?
Thank you, Guillaume, and good morning, good evening, everyone. As you said at the top, quick introduction about myself. I've been in the customer service, call center technology space, software space for 20 years. And while I know that sounds tremendously exciting to all of you, let me say, count me as part of the 90% that Zendesk is reporting on. But, the inflection point we're at, it feels like, with Gen AI and leveraging Gen AI across these voice systems, it really is making a leap beyond anything I really imagined I would see in my career. So it's super exciting for me. So let's talk about key challenges. The first one, let's actually hit that sort of concept, really. I and customers now expect we've normalized speaking to automated systems using natural language, using human language. You can blame Siri and Alexa, but it's something that everyone is used to doing now and accept it as normal. So really, I've always thought that throughout my career, we will use, as humans, use automation and self-service if it is convenient for us in the moment we're in. And so quite often, that we might be in front of a computer and can use web chat or internet, a website. But quite often as well, we are not. We're rushing to an airport or driving in our car or on a busy factory floor and in an environment where we really need to pick up the phone and call. And so that combined with the expectation to talk to, use my language to express my needs really is where we're at. And customers no longer want to deal with the traditional scripted IVR flows, even a natural language understanding solution of the past 10 years, that they're still very deterministic and have to follow a specific program. And so they can't adapt to the way humans communicate. Another key challenge, I think, that has been always the case, but it remains, is fragmented data and the experiences that result from that. So as organizations grow, even as new services become something that you want to offer your customers, you are bringing in new systems, new panes of glass that you have to reference. And they quite often are not connected. They're not sharing data. You're not sharing data with your IVR system, perhaps. And so at each point along the service journey, you can really pick up really quickly that these two systems are not integrated when I have to specify who I am and what I want again, over and over again. Or if I'm getting different feedback or different responses based upon where I'm at in my service journey, it quickly leads you to not trust anything that you're getting out of that customer. In terms of operational efficiency, again, organizations are growing, and it just exacerbates the fragmented data experience. And so as organizations grow, there's more complexity, there's more steps to follow, more processes to follow to execute on specific workflows. And just by nature, as things expand, they can be more inefficient and slow unless you are really focused on integrating and sharing data across them, and commonizing, is that even a word, the experience. And lastly, balancing AI and human intelligence. I do think this is something that every organization struggles with, and the mature organizations are the ones who know they have to be thinking about this. The idea that you can just apply automation to everything is a fallacy. Where can you apply AI to your specific workflows and specific steps in your workflow, and solve some of them through AI or through automation, assist a human in doing others, or just get out of the way right now while you figure it out. Again, by taking a smart approach to AI and putting AI where you can enable a plan that will mature and change over time.
So I don't think most would argue with these challenges, Todd. And you mentioned AI, right? And today the topic of the day is voice AI in the context of the agentic AI capabilities that ServiceNow brings to bear as well. But before we get into that, didn't want to take for granted what our audience does or doesn't know in terms of what is voice AI, right? So if you could quickly walk through and help provide just a quick definition, especially for those that didn't have a chance to join our previous session where we delved deeply into exactly what it is. So what is voice AI?
Sure, absolutely. So voice AI is not just a conversational system powered by artificial intelligence. It is, those systems have been around for a bit. You can build a decently sophisticated, focused language model and enable a conversational dialogue for specific use cases using NLU, and identify the way people express intents, match those up to a response, and for very fixed use cases, apply AI to and make it sound conversational or feel conversational. But with voice AI, you're leveraging Gen AI to make a more natural and free-flowing conversation, and it feels like the way I want to talk and the way I want to be talked to. I'm speaking and I'm building on my conversation, and the system is generating responses to me. And it that way, like an open-ended question, can be refined, and there can be dialogue to really narrow down on specifically what I need and how the system should treat that. So by the back and forth, building contextually at every response builds on the previous, you're able to have a robust conversation. You can really expand the use cases that you can address with the voice system. And it is all something that I feel like I can trust more as a user because I am able to fully express myself.
So you talked about the comparison of the way things are done and the way things may eventually be done, or already the direction in which they're headed, right, as a result of the proliferation and gradual adoption of AI. So let's quickly take a look at perhaps what a quote unquote traditional IT support, customer experience or employee experience might look like, which to your point, Todd, it's not that there's anything foundationally wrong, right? It's just that traditionally they are rigid, static, manual. And when you consider what's now possible, you might argue, in some cases, inefficient, right? So, very often when someone calls, you get that very somewhat passive aggressive message, which is, hey, thank you for calling. Your call is very important to me. Now, please, would you do me the favor of waiting 30 minutes, right? Which, not a good place to start. But ideally, you get through that experience very often, impersonal, generic. And the goal is, to get you to the next available agent, which, if you think about it, that doesn't always mean that the next available agent is the best suited agent based on skills and aligning those skills to your requirements. But when you do reach that agent, very often the agent is that human middleware that's responsible for then, swivel chairing between the different systems that they have available to them to hopefully support and assist the inquiry, right? The caller. It could be a knowledge base, it could be an ITSM or CRM system, asset management tool, depending on the industry, the role of the agent. It could vary, but the agent is basically the one manually overcoming, the fragmented environment that you alluded to when it comes to different platforms that they represent. And it could very well be that they still need help and support from other, teams, whether it's tier 2, tier 3, escalation and approval. They might get the approval. And then hopefully, if you're lucky, everything ends all in good, right? It's a resolution, first call, off you go, but very often is not the case. So if I were to pass that on and you were to highlight, okay, well, how does that compare to voice AI, driven experiences together with ServiceNow? Break that down for us.
Yeah, that's a good summary. And when I'm talking with a voice AI system that is aligned with and working alongside a back office system that's the workflows that are enabled by AI, leveraging the same data and policies, et cetera, you're going to have a seamless experience. So I'm going to call and I'm going to talk with the voice AI. And I'm going to be able to dialogue, like I said, and there's a lot more use cases that are going to be automatable, again, given the information from the CRM. But even if it's not something that I can handle with the agent itself, the AI agent itself, when the call does go to the into the call center for the workflow, it's going to have complete context and of everything that I wanted to express because I'm having a robust dialogue, as well as leverage the same information. The AI may have already, it recognized me by name. It's perhaps offered me up a status of my existing case, but I want more. But when it gets into the agent workflow, the back office workflow, it's going to be leveraging the same data. And and then it's a request like, a fulfillment request. I've already presented all of my information and why I need it. And so the back office is going to leverage all the same policies and step by step execute my need based upon what I was able to really vocalize specifically of what and why I need.
And then, obviously any escalations that might be required, any human intelligence or intervention all the way through to that conclusion, right? So
Exactly.
richer experience that, allows you to sort of either self-service or intelligently, solve for the issue in the background and then include that human component if and when necessary, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And the AIs are working together across the spectrum.
exactly. So we've set the precedents, right? So what people want to see, right? So I know everyone's chomping at the bit to actually see the live demonstration. So why don't you provide just a quick high-level overview of what is sort of the narrative that we're going to use for today's demonstration purposes, just for context, and then we'll dive right in.
Sounds good. So my demo persona, my employee persona here is going to be Richard, and I need a new PC. I'm a new marketing manager, and I need a new PC because I now need to use some pretty heavy duty software packages. And so I'm going to call him, and the voice agent, AI agent, is going to dialogue with me where I can really explain what I need and why and list out the packages I need. And then that's going to kick off a workflow that is for the back office to go step by step and execute all of the things that's going to take to fulfill that request. And Chipmon will walk through all of that. And then, so my request is going to be fulfilled. I'm going to get my PC. But then subsequently, I'm going to call back in a day or two later because now I have a concern, and it's going to be something that's more urgent and perhaps risky. That it's going to be a security concern. You'll see, and so now I really the organization wants a human to intervene and help out with that. And again, I've already dialogued with an AI agent as well as I'm now able to talk to a human agent in a seamless fashion.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess there's nothing left to do here but to showcase. So let me stop sharing here, and I'm going to turn it over to you and Chitwan.
Very good. So you should now be able to see. Yes. Should be able to see my desktop here with the Voice AI Hub. And what this is really is our portal for where we build and test and tune these AI agents, the voice AI agents. And so I'm going to demo out of it. It's a very visual environment, but understand that the notion is that this is a phone call. So I'm, actually a phone call going on that you're going to be able to actually visually see. Hello.
Hello, you've reached Marcus, your AI IT assistant. How can I help you today?
Hi, Marcus. I need to request a new laptop. My current one just can't keep up with my new job.
I recognize your phone number, Richard. Can you tell me why you need a new laptop?
Well, I'm now running Adobe Creative Cloud, specifically Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects. And again, my old laptop just can't handle those programs.
I understand, Richard. Adobe Creative Cloud can be quite demanding. I recommend a laptop with at least 16 gigabytes of RAM for optimal performance. Are there any other applications you will need on your new laptop for your marketing work?
Yes, actually, I'm using Figma Professional for UI design and Power BI for analytics as well.
Great choices, Richard. Just to confirm, you will need the following applications on your new laptop: Adobe Creative Cloud, Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Visual Studio Code, Canva, Figma Professional, Power BI. Can you tell me about your current laptop specifications and your role for context?
Yeah, I've been just promoted to senior marketing manager, and my old laptop is several years old. It's a Windows machine with only 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Thank you for the details, Richard. So, you're currently using a Windows machine with 8 GB of RAM, and you've been promoted to Senior Marketing Manager. Is there any timeline pressure for when you need this new laptop?
Yes, I need to present a major marketing campaign we're looking to launch to the executive team next Friday. I need this software available to me so I can prepare my materials.
Your hardware request has been submitted, Richard. Your incident number is INC00111563. You will receive updates soon.
Okay, go ahead and in that, and hopefully you can see it's a natural conversation, free flowing, builds on each step of the way. Sorry for that. It just scored that. We score every transaction for metrics and improvement. And I can. You can take turns in the conversation just like I'm talking to a human. It asked me a couple questions in one, and I responded to my new role before I actually told it about my old Windows machine. That's kind of a so what, but it is really the way humans communicate. And that's just all I want to point out. So if I go over here to my ServiceNow instance here real quickly, and I need to go to Service Operations Workspace and pull up that interaction, or that incident rather, so we can see it. Should have had this already loaded, but let's go back here. It was 63. Here is 63, new laptop, short description. The really key thing here is that this was all pulled out of the dialogue by the AI. It pulled out the details of what I need, and the urgency. I need it by next Friday, and made it urgent. And so the interaction is also here with the full transcription, hopefully, of that dialogue. So that also is presented to ServiceNow for the back office workflow from here. Just so happens this back office workflow now is going to be automated through AI. And I'm going to hand it over to Chitwan, who can now show you how that all operates.
Thank you, Todd. I'm Chitwan Malhotra, working with 3CLogic from last 16 years. I met a lot of you during the ServiceNow Knowledge 25 event, and we shared a lot of ideas about how 3CLogic Voice AI can bring power to ServiceNow. And I think in this demo, we'll showcase the real power where how these two systems, 3CLogic Voice AI and ServiceNow Orchestrator, can work together to process things in the background with the complete context. So let me share my screen here and show you where we are. So we received the request from Todd. The transcription was populated in a hardware request. Certain information like the one that was provided by Todd during the call, like the requesters and the department, was added to the hardware request when it was created, along with the voice AI transcript. Now, for the demo purposes, what we will show you, the orchestrator, we'll invoke the orchestrator, and we'll show you how the ServiceNow orchestrator is able to perform various AI tasks in the background. And for those of you who don't know a lot about ServiceNow orchestrator, it's a framework where ServiceNow is recommending that you break your AI task into small AI agents. Every AI agent should have its own purpose, its own job, and these AI agents are tied together with a global entity called an AI orchestrator, so that the orchestrator understands, first of all, which all AI agents are necessary for a given job. And then once these AI agents have started working, the orchestrator is also managing and orchestrating how these agents are performing, sharing information between these agents, and ensuring the objective or the end goal is achieved. Now, before I invoke the orchestrator, the other thing I want to talk about is you all should know that AI loves data, right? So for the orchestrator to work, the orchestrator and the individual AI agent should have as much data, as much context as they can. So let me fire the orchestrator and see that in action. And then we'll also talk about how these things are working in the background and how 3CLogic Voice AI is empowering everything. So in this first level, where the orchestrator has identified that it needs all these set of AI, orchestrator has access to many AI agents, but because this is a specific hardware request, the request talks about somebody asking for a new laptop. The orchestrator quickly understands, based on the conversation that happened in the transcription, that it needs a configuration agent, it needs a vendor selection agent, budget approval agent, policy compliance. And this is up to us how we lay down the entire plan within our ServiceNow environment, how we bring all these AI agents together. But the orchestration is doing all the selection in the background in order for that request to be processed. Now, the orchestrator is working with the configuration agent right now in the background, trying to identify individual pieces of software and hardware that are necessary for this laptop to be configured and shipped. So if you see on the left, it has identified this is the CPU, this is the RAM, this is the GPU that is minimally required for the request that Todd created. Now, the vendor selection agent will see that, okay, this request seems to be urgent. The requester has said that there is a meeting that they have to attend, and it's an urgent meeting, and the laptop has to be shipped fast. So the vendor selection agent will consider all that, and it will identify the vendor, not only the vendor should have the hardware configuration available, but also should be able to ship the laptop on time. So the other thing to notice here is that this is all the tool set that ServiceNow has offered, that you can make access to these AI agents, so that when the transcript is available to these AI agents, the AI agents are also referring to ServiceNow artifacts, knowledge base articles, configuration items, catalog items, to know and to decide what is the best action that they can take. Again, to keep this demo simple, we have kept it autonomous. You can also bring in human into the loop. So for example, the budget approval agent. imagine if the budget exceeds or the approval exceeds the budget that is allocated, then there can be a human agent in the loop which will approve before the policy compliance and the order placement is done. But for the demo purposes, we have kept it simple. The budget has been approved based on the configuration and the vendor selection based on the cost that it identified. Now, the policy compliance agent is running. It is identifying that the requester has also asked for certain specific softwares, one of which was, BI tool, which requires elevated permissions and access to a database table. So it is checking if the compliance or the policy compliance allows for Richard, based on his specific designation in the organization, to have access to the database table or not. So that is where the policy compliance agent will do. While this is running, let's go back to the hardware request once. So the hardware request is getting updated. Everything, the product has been selected, the vendor has been selected. If you see here, request was made for Figma. We were not able to find Figma. This is how we have referred to the knowledge base article. And instead, we approved for Canva Enterprise. The AI has decided that Figma Professional and Canva Enterprise should be similar softwares, and the user should be fine with that. Hardware configuration was decided at the first stage, and everything is being powered by the 3CLogic voice AI. Now, everything that the orchestrator is doing in the background here on the other screen, the orchestrator is also making notes in the ticket. So if you follow here, the configuration agent, what it decided, the vendor selection agent, which vendor it picked, the budget approval agent, what was the budget and what was the selected hardware price. Policy compliance agent is mentioning explicitly about Power BI, that this was recommended by the configuration. Now, all this is updating my hardware request and doing orchestration in the background. This is not just a ticket update, but it is action happening in the background. The last step in the process, or the second large step, is the order placement. And at the end, we will also showcase the 3CLogic SMS capabilities. Again, these are AI orchestration and the AI agent that are capable to do things. One of the agent that we have in our library is the 3CLogic SMS agent. This agent, on the left hand side, once everything has been placed, as an order has been placed, we will see the SMS agent will send an SMS to Todd that the laptop has been shipped. So let's wait for that to come here. The other thing I want to talk about is everything is logged into the ticket. Everything is part of the work notes, but you can always configure the AI agent logs to add more details, to bring in human into the loop. All that is configurable, and this is where ServiceNow Power comes in. The order has been successfully placed, and the SMS has been sent as well. So Todd, you must have received an SMS by now. And this is the demo that I wanted to show you, how 3CLogic Voice AI is empowering ServiceNow AI orchestrators and these individual agents to perform their job better. So if I open any agent, you will see that the agent referred to transcriptions and then made the decisions to move forward. That's all from my side. Todd, take me back.
Thank you, Chitwan. That was a great demonstration. Let me go ahead and share my screen now. Make sure I'm doing that with audio, always the thing I forget. And what you're looking at here is my ServiceNow instance, my agent desktop. But before I do that, let me just quickly thank again, Chitwan. I think that is so cool what we saw there with agentic AI working across the service workflow. And again, working side by side, where a voice agent collected all the input, everything that was required for a automated workflow, leveraging AI step by step along the way in the back office to really automate what is a complex process. But as we talked about, there are many circumstances where I, as an employee or customer, am really upset about something. Perhaps I want to talk to a human. I'm not going to want to talk to an AI right now. And likewise, there's the enterprise perhaps also needs a human to step in and triage something that is very concerning. So what I'm about to demonstrate is me actually starting to talk to an AI, just because that's my access number. But I'm going to vocalize a very specific concern, a security type incident here that it's going to recognize and say, okay, let me log your information and get you to a human. So let me go ahead and make that voice AI call. Where are you at? Hello?
Hello, you've reached Marcus, your AI IT assistant. How can I help you today?
Yeah, hey, Marcus. I got that laptop that I requested last week, and I've been using it, but I'm really concerned about what I see this morning. I think I have a virus.
Richard, I understand your concern. Can you describe what you've seen that makes you think there might be a virus?
Well, when I opened it up this morning, the browser was open with dozens of tabs and odd websites that I definitely have never been to, and a few files open on the desktop too with strange characters. It's really scary looking stuff.
I've created an incident to document your potential virus concern. Your incident number is INC00111571. I will now transfer you to a live agent for more urgent service.
Okay, so we should be seeing a call hit my desktop through the magic of telecommunications, easy for you to say. I'm logged in and available. Oh, here we go. Call from Richard Rosenberg. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. And muted. And there you see, calls hit Todd Rudskew, my agent. I'm a human agent now, and I have been presented to me the full dialogue that just occurred with the voice AI. So I have readily available everything that I just told the AI. It's done all that intake. I feel like I've been able to adequately describe what I see. Todd, the technician, can review, and if this was actually a live call between two people, that conversation would continue through real-time transcription in this same conversation page. So again, there's the power of voice AI intake, but assisting a human do their job more efficiently. And with that, I am going to turn it back to you, Guillaume, to take us home.
Yeah, so fantastic job to both you and Chitwan, right? Covering a lot of territory. As you mentioned, a voice AI, doing the intake, connecting to the agentic AI to facilitate the automation, but also reserving the right to escalate to a human, to a live agent. And then, what does that unified experience look like? And you hinted, Todd, and showcased very quickly that real-time transcription so that the agent has context. And of course, for our audience, I should use this as a good time to plant a seed, which is our next webinar, which will be specifically focusing on real-time transcription together with ServiceNow and how that optimizes the agent experience. But hopefully that gives our entire audience an idea of what that end-to-end flow looks like and how, again, we can, incorporate the human aspect, the live agent, but still fully leverage the automation that voice AI together with ServiceNow agentic AI makes possible. So we're coming to the end of our session here. Let me just go ahead and share my and go ahead and really do a little bit of a recap. And this is really takeaways in relation to some of the challenges that we had first addressed. The first one, dealing with, hey, how can you actually exceed customer expectations? And hopefully today you saw how voice AI can offer a frictionless experience and together with agentic AI can take the initiative to complete those tasks across systems. And at the same time, provide that customer experience continuity, right? So voice AI can act as that unified engagement layer, while ServiceNow's agentic AI and AI orchestrator has the ability to provide action and use the memory across systems to ensure not just personalization for each of their specific requests that may come in, but a seamless transition between those touch points for each of those different processes that have to be executed. And then what we didn't really discuss at length is how this can have a direct impact towards lowering the effort and daily operating costs that come with handling any type of customer support, or in this case specifically, an IT service desk. When you're autonomously handling multi-step processes and removing the need for manual intervention by a live individual, that can have meaningful impact in terms of how you manage your daily operations. 40% of most of the inquiries that come into a help desk are mundane, repetitive, predictable. And the idea there is, together with voice AI and ServiceNow, if you can automate and offload those repetitive requests. That gives a lot of time back for you and your team to focus on those more complex inquiries, those inquiries that are perhaps high value, high touch, whatever the case may be, and potentially, over time, even scale or reduce your team so that you can increase the scale without necessarily having to increase your overhead. But last but not least, showing how you can evolve your AI strategy, how AI can be incorporated into your existing workflows, those that you already have in place today, whether it's enhancing the front end, optimizing for automation within the back office, or providing those AI-assisted capabilities in that unified ServiceNow experience if and when something needs to be escalated to a human agent. And as I mentioned earlier, in our next session, we'll be showcasing and focusing a lot on what that unified experience, AI-enhanced environment for live agents might look like. So as we come to a close, for those of you who don't know anything about 3CLogic, just a quick little soundbite in terms of who we are and what we do. We are the only advanced platform and certified ServiceNow build partner specializing in voice AI and contact center solutions, really purpose-built to complement investments in the ServiceNow platform, be it IT service management, which of course was today's focus, but extending out to HR service delivery as well as customer support. We are deployed globally with the ability to offer everything from your traditional contact center requirements around IVR, ACD, all the way through to some of the more advanced capabilities you saw today, notably voice AI, real-time transcription, and of course, reporting, analytics, quality assurance, speech analytics, call transcriptions, more than we can showcase in one setting. So if by any chance, anything that we showed you today, you feel could be of added value to you in your operations, we welcome an opportunity to have a conversation with you. We are always easily reachable at servicenow@3clogic.com. That is servicenow@3clogic.com. Send us a quick quick email, and we'd love to learn more about your specific circumstances and potentially understand where 3CLogic could add value, whether it's applying what you've seen today or some of the other capabilities that I alluded to earlier. With that, we are now at the end of our session. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about what voice AI from 3CLogic together with ServiceNow could do for you. Stay tuned for future sessions. We certainly welcome your attendance to those as well, and hopefully we'll see you down the road very, very soon. Thanks again, and on behalf of the 3CLogic team, we'll talk to you soon.